As I said before, I time traveled back to 1988. And when I time traveled back to 1988 with my dad, I went and saw this movie. He's like, "You want to go see a movie?" Sure. Okay, let's go watch a movie. So we go to the Man Theaters and get some sodas and candy using my time travel machine that I have, which is not the same as the time travel machine that Napoleon Dynamite was toying around with. So, but this one actually works. They didn't have Sour Patch Kids at this movie theater yet, but they probably didn't have them at movie theaters yet, but they didn't have them at this movie theater yet. So I couldn't get any Sour Patch Kids. I ended up getting Skittles. So, okay, I got that and I got soda. And that's not a real good combination because it makes the soda taste weird to drink soda while you're eating Skittles. So we go into the theater where it's playing. The movie is She's Having a Baby. All right, well, let's do this movie. And just from the title, I thought it would probably be boring. So us and the people in there sit down, wait for the curtains to open up. Then they have the thing for previews that comes up and something, "Welcome to Man Theaters," with the music playing. So the movie comes on, and all I really remember is there's a whole lot of talking going on. I'm eating my Skittles and drinking my soda. So I guess she gets pregnant at some point and they're not ready to be parents yet or something. So it was something like that. And I don't know, I remember I think he had to take her to the hospital. So I'm just telling you my experience during this, and yours could have been similar or much different. So I'm sitting in there, and you may remember that this actually, if anybody was back then, I remember this being on the news. So as I'm watching it, people are just falling asleep and being scared, really, because although it's not a scary movie as far as the movie goes, you're scared because you're being bored so much that it's starting to hurt. So you're watching the movie and they're talking and explaining how I think like they go into the doctor's office and he's using technology to determine whether it's a boy or a girl. And the people sitting next to me were like falling asleep. Then I look over on the other side and their heads are up, like they're looking straight up. And even my dad like starts going into convulsions. As the movie continues, people are in the aisles and some of them are just laying face down flat in the aisle. Me and my dad are like, "Let's get out of here," because we had been weakened by the movie hurting us, by boring us to death. And people talk about being bored to death all the time, but to actually have that happen to you. So us and the other people in the theater, a lot of other people had the same idea, but they were so weakened at this point, mentally and physically. They were like exhausted somehow, like it drained them by being bored on such a scale. So they're like crawling to the exits. And so, I fell in the aisle and I didn't trip over anybody because I was careful not to. And my dad, who had fallen beside me, he said, "Take this." And he gave me his Rolex that he had got and he handed it to me. It was like the family Rolex. And he handed it to me. So I didn't know how much that thing was worth at that point. So I'm crawling and I almost make it to the exit and I'm like, "Please, please, just more, just a little more." And I look at all the dead bodies behind of the people who have died because they've been bored on such a scale. And so here comes emergency medical people in to get some of them out of there. And I was lucky that I was one of them. And I remember being on the stretcher and I'm holding that Rolex. And I just kept saying to myself, "Please turn it off. Please turn it off." And that's all I kept saying, the same thing over and over again. I ended up wanting to pawn that Rolex, and I went in to take it in, and the guy inside there told me that he wasn't going to buy it off of me because he thought that I had stole it. So then I went outside, and some guy told me that I was a police officer and showed me a fake badge and bought it off of me for $20. I was a little kid. I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought $20 was a lot of money back then.